Well, it's Friday morning here, about 10:30. We're all loaded and got the two vehicles with the snowmobile and stuff, and then my truck. And so we're heading off to the woods, and it's going to be an interesting weekend. They're predicting anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow, but yeah, we're looking forward to it. Well, we made it back to the lake where we're going to be staying for the next 3 nights. And we're ferrying some gear now with the snowmobile and the sled across the lake where the campsite is. And it's getting kind of breezy. The temperature isn't that bad, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend.
Well, we woke up and we had quite a bit of snow, and it's still coming down. You can see, well, the stovepipe's been cleaned off, but we probably had, what, a solid 6 inches more? How much do you think we got?
Oh, I would say close to a foot.
Close to a foot. So, the tent did well, though, to slough the snow off for the most part. We have gear under these mounds. We've got the big tent covered in snow. So, made for an interesting morning, that's for sure. Inside Tom's tent, we've got oatmeal going, and Tom's working on warming up some English muffins, coffee. So really, it's it's quite a little home away from home.
Well, we're out fishing now. Still snowing pretty good, and man, there's a ton of snow out here. I think they caught a couple of perch and one small trout yet, but when you look at the camp here, it's quite a winter wonderland. There's the trail up to the latrine, which we got a rope and use this pole to get up that hill because it's so darn steep, but it works. To try and do a switchback would be a huge amount of snow shoveling at this point, so we'll just make this do for the next couple days.
Well, this is the dangers of going to the bathroom, is sometimes you gotta slide down. It might not capture it quite as well on camera, but it is pretty steep. So we have string and pole, and even with that, sometimes you gotta butt scoot your way down.
I mean, I've always liked it. It's getting too narrow. I've wedged in. Help! I can't get out. Yeah, we always from here. We say that after the fish. Well, there's Steven jigging, waiting for the big trout. John's just relaxing in the chair. There's some folks down the line. Some people across the lake. And yeah, we'll hopefully have some luck here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Small little.
Steven, are you fishing right off the bottom?
No, I'm working the whole column.
Oh.
So that one I actually had just reeled up just a little bit. And jigging, you know, big jigs. So here's our little path as we get to the mega tent. So Tom's got a Davis tent. I think they're out of Colorado maybe. But we got the crew. Got Tom, David, Jerry, and then John, and of course George. So this is the mega tent.
Are we
as
live
it
on
stands.
YouTube now?
Well, not live, but you know, we can blur you out. We'll have to bleep you out, I'm sure, too, Jerry. But we upgraded the tent or the stove this year for the tent. So Tom's got his Cadillac stove here, so it's nice and toasty.
Riley stove.
Riley stove.
And a Davis tent.
Davis tent from Denver, Colorado.
So we've got our snow trucker tent, the stove feeding in. So last year when we did this trip, we ended up using the Arctic oven. This year we've got third person in here, so apologize for the lighting situation. It is dark, but we've got the stove feeding in, and then Dad's got his cot set up. So he'll be in that corner. John sleeping on the diagonal. So he's a pretty tall guy, so we had to kind of fit him in the, you know, in the space that was left over. And then I have my cot set up. So John's got a 3-season insulated pad, the Big Agnes Q Core. So what we ended up doing for him was putting a layer of Reflectix down, then his pad followed by another layer of the Reflectix, and then he's got a Wiggy's double bag, so it'll go down to -40, I guess, survival rating anyway. So Dad's got the -60 Wiggies. So those are excellent bags. Really, really nice. Really highly recommend those. They're out of Colorado. I've got kind of a homemade setup. I've got a down quilt, and I've got it cinched together with a synthetic top quilt. Then I've got a 4-season, a Thermarest 4-season pad. So, you know, out of the 3 sleep systems, you know, mine I guess has the most potential to get a little bit chilly, but we'll see how it goes. It's actually snowing, blizzarding right now, which means that it's not going to drop too terribly cold, but I think Sunday night it's supposed to get to about 10 below, so we'll see. I've had this, you know, this set up in a hammock at about 10 below before and been okay with it, so we'll see. And with the stove running, I'll at least be able to get to sleep. But whether or not I wake up multiple times frozen to the bone, we'll see, I guess. So we're having a little bit of difficulty drafting, so we're not getting the best fire right now. But we'll make it work.
So today is Sunday, and look at the weather change. Woke up to a nice sun, no snow. There's, I think, 2 other guys on the lake here now. Yesterday there were lots of people. I think the heavy snow and, the slow fishing kept a lot of people away today. And so we've got today to fish, and then I think because of all this heavy snow, we might not fish in the morning and just start, the process of breaking down the camp tomorrow. And heading out because we'll have to get these tents hung in Tom's garage and dry them out and all that. So a little bit more work this time and tearing down because of the heavy snows yesterday. But sure a nice morning so far. Hopefully the fish will be cooperating a little better, but we'll see. Stephen and I did a little alteration on the stovepipe this morning. Last night it worked okay. Friday night I had trouble because normally the pipe comes out at the angle from the tent and we just go straight that way, but the winds were coming right direct towards it, even though I had a little elbow at the top, but it wasn't drawing very good and it was backdrafting, when the wind would push some of that. So we had an extra elbow and we put that right after it comes out of the tent, and we went straight up this morning. We'll see if that does a better job of drafting. We won't fire it up till later this afternoon and that, but I expect that it should work hopefully a little better. We'll find out later. Well, we've had a little bit of a change of plans here. It's Sunday afternoon. We fished this morning and caught just a couple. I caught one perch and a couple other bites, and David caught some small trout that he put back in, and the other guys went to the next lake over and had one bite. And then we're finding that we got a tremendous amount of slush, so the guys decided that maybe the most frugal thing to do would be to pack up this afternoon and get out of here. With the slush the way it is and the fishing being slow, that might be the way to go. So we're actually starting to break down camp here, and we'll start shuttling stuff after a while back and forth. A little lighter loads probably because of how wet it is. I don't know if you can see that slush there, which doesn't look too bad from this distance, but even when you're walking it, you're sinking down, 6-8 inches or so in the slush and that. So like I say, we're pulling out a little earlier than we anticipated, and with less fish, and but still a good time. So anyway, we'll work here at tearing down the camp. Well, here's the vacant spot where we had our tent set up. So the snow will come and fill this back in, whether it does the whole thing or not. Depends on the winter. But we still have quite a bit more stuff in the big lodge to take down, and then several trips to the vehicles with the snowmobile, and we'll head towards home.
Leave no trace, John.
Oh wait. Toilet paper. Got it. It's not quite big enough.
No, but you stuck.
Fit.
You stuck the landing.
So we're John's looking here, and we think there's some chaga up there in that birch tree. So most of you, or some of you, are familiar with chaga and its medicinal properties.
Yeah.
Almost caught that one. We got a few little pieces.
So here we got
Some chaga tea.
3 pieces that John can dry out and
Make some tinctures.
either pulverize it or leave it in chunks and let it seep in the tea. Another gift from nature. You can just barely see the sun peeking through the clouds. Almost a little bit of a halo effect over there. But starting a little light snow. When the guys went out take a first load to the vehicles, they said there was about 14 inches of snow on the snowmobile trailer from the time we got in here Friday till went out this afternoon. So between the snow and the slush, we had a challenge these last couple days. Well, the big lodge is down and packed up, and you can see the size of the snowbank from our shoveling and that. And we went through every piece of scrap of paper or anything that was inadvertently left. We picked it all up. Pulled the rope down for our latrine climb. Got all this here cleared up. You can see the trails in the snow, the slush. So we got, I don't know, 2 or 3 more trips maybe to try and make with gear and people. So it won't be too long. We should be out of this site anyway and finish packing up the vehicles and on our way back to Tom's place.